I'm Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. It's nice to have you guys here. It's a bit of a different intro. I've usually been doing vlogs, but yeah, there was one thing in particular that I wanted to talk about in this vlog, and I was gonna just fill in the rest of the space around it with other vlog footage as the Monday, Tuesday vlog to go up on Friday. And yeah, Monday and Tuesday have been a bit of a train wreck. And I don't think you guys really need to see that. I don't really want to share that. Nothing has been terrible. Nothing has been that bad. It's really just been me not responding or reacting in the best way. Like, it's a lot of little things just kept going wrong. Anyway, all of this hints at stuff that I have been dealing with already. And this was going to be the main part of this vlog, is talking about doing a mid-year reset. It's already 12:20. I have not done a single thing on what is already a very small to-do list, so I feel like today is just going to be a bit of a wash, and maybe going through my mid-year reset with you guys will help me just like calm down and salvage what's left of my day. I first stumbled on the idea of a mid-year reset while watching, I think the channel is called Mariana's Study Corner. I will try to look up the name and put it down below. And she's a productivity and like study vlogger. I found her when I was still doing my PhD. And so she does a lot of really interesting productivity related videos. And I saw her do one on doing a mid-year reset. And I thought, that sounds like a really good idea. I should do that. I kind of used her questions as a starting point. I kind of expanded on that and added in questions that I felt related to me. So I will try to put together a Google Doc at least. It won't be fancy, but something that you can download. I really felt like I needed to go back and look at the past 6 months, because it's now kind of the end of June. So we're pretty much halfway through the year. So I started off by looking back at the previous 6 months and just doing a kind of brain dump of my general thoughts on this year so far. It was things like noticing that it's been a roller coaster. The spring semester was really rough. It was much harder than I was expecting it to be. I feel like I had done pretty well during the fall semester, but what I underestimated was how burned out I was from the fall semester, and then winter break I just didn't really recover enough because I was launching a book and preparing, you know, working on More Than Fate, which was going to come out in May, and it was a lot. And so going into January in the spring semester, I was like, my battery was only charged back up to like 50%. If you will. By May, and by the time More Than Fate had come out, it just felt like everything was taking more effort, everything was taking more time to do. It's taking me longer to edit vlogs, it's taking me longer to write in my writing projects. My writing times had definitely slowed down, and by the end of Writing Across the Pond, it was really hard. Doing just tasks around the house, getting ready in the morning, like I feel like I'm moving through water. My brain is really sluggish, and I know this is burnout. Like, and this is the worst burnout I've ever had. There have been some high points in the past 6 months, but there have also been some really low points. I'm struggling to focus on the highs and the things that I've accomplished. My brain is zeroing in on the things that I'm failing at. My perfectionism, I feel like I need to do a whole separate video on perfectionism and how I'm trying to deal with my perfectionism, because it has flared up so bad. Common thoughts that run through my head on a daily basis are, I can't do anything right, I'm constantly making mistakes, you're a failure, you're failing at everything, you can't, you know, it's just, and it's on a loop. Then it's back to you can't do anything right, blah, 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 blah. I know that this is not true. Intellectually, I can separate those thoughts out and analyze them and be like, this isn't true. This is not objectively provable. There is nothing to show that I am a failure. I haven't failed at anything because I'm continuing to try. It's only a failure when you stop trying, and I'm not stopping trying. So I'm not a failure, and I am making mistakes, but I'm allowed to make mistakes. It happens. We're human. It just feels like things are piling on top of each other and making it harder and harder for me to deal with it. So looking back at my year compass in my planner, which I keep at the front of my planner. So I did a video on this at the beginning of the year. I went back to the 2021 portion, the year ahead, and looked at what I wrote down. And I can see that I've already accomplished some of the goals that I set. Some I haven't quite accomplished, but I'm very, very close. There are some things I'm going to be ahead on those things. There's other things that I'm on track for. And then there are some things that I haven't even started, and I don't know if I can realistically get to them this year, and that's okay. So what goals have I accomplished this far? That was another question I put down. I've published one book so far. So we published More Than Fate. That came out on May 11th. The other 2 books planned for this year are in progress, and I've accomplished the mini goals for those. I finished writing Independent Hearts on time. I'm still within the general framework or timeline of editing it. I finished outlining and writing Across the Pond Book 3 on time, and that's moving into the next stage on target. So I haven't published those books, but when I break down publish Independent Hearts and publish Across the Pond Book 3, I have accomplished the smaller goals leading up to the final ones for those. Publishing 3 books was one of the big overarching goals for the year. So I've got 1 down and the other 2 are on track. What goals remain? I wanted to move more in my daily life, particularly because I'm sitting at home at my desk all day, almost every day. So I was doing really well before it got hot. I was going out for walks, even if they were just short ones. But since it's gotten hot, I'm not doing as much yoga, and I want to work on that. I feel like I'm doing better at drinking enough water, but I want to keep that as a goal to make sure that I'm drinking enough water every day. Still spending time over at the house. Spending family time was something that I set as a goal this year. So I'm spending 1 day a week over at the house. I'll be going over there tomorrow to hang out with mom and dad and the dogs. I'm still decluttering and cleaning, so I have accomplished some aspects of that, but there's still more to do. One of the big things, I'm still not intentionally focusing on me or being very kind to myself. I try to take breaks, but I'm not taking enough breaks throughout the day. I'm not prioritizing rest enough. I'm struggling with the negative self-talk. I feel like a lot of my coping skills aren't as effective because I've been relying on them for so long that they're just losing some of their power. And part of that is because I'm just so tired. So I need to be prioritizing rest, focusing more on me and giving my brain and my body the things that it needs rather than putting myself last and trying to get all my tasks done. I'm really having to just accept that there are things that just aren't going to get done this year, and that's okay, and not beat myself up or fall back into that perfectionist mentality of I'm making mistakes and I'm a failure and I can't do anything right if I don't get something done. I think I have a lot of other, I know I've got a lot of other grad students and academics who follow me. I feel like this is a very common problem for academics. We work in a very high pressure environment. I'm not even working on the research side of things anymore. Like I'm purely teaching focused now in my job, but there's still a lot of pressure with that I've got to be the best teacher I possibly can be. And I'm applying that kind of grad student energy to my self-publishing, and so I'm creating a very high pressured environment for that. That's not good, which is why I do think I need to jot some thoughts down and then do a separate video on perfectionism. Let me know if you'd like a video on that. I haven't solved that problem by any means, but there are things I'm learning how to like deal with it and how to navigate it. There are some other work things that I haven't done that I really wanted to do, and they just haven't been happening in terms of professional development. And then book marketing has been nearly non-existent, which means book income on average is really low. May, when we had the book launch, you know, the royalties go up, and then in June they kind of have gone down. I can look at those figures and know they're directly connected to I haven't been doing nearly enough marketing. And like I'm not focusing on marketing and sales and promotion and increasing visibility and all of those things. So part of it is that I'm still an early stage writer, and so I am going to have slower months. So part of it is it will take time, but part of it is I'm also not doing what I need to be doing, and so that's something I want to work on. So I've then ranked, the kind of prompt was realistically evaluate the remaining goals, list and rank them here, and so I came up with 8. I'm already looking at the 8th one and realizing it's probably not gonna happen this year. And that's okay. My top 8 goals: focus on me, time off to rest and recharge, sleep more, prioritizing sleep. Number 2, I want to do yoga here at home most days. I'm not saying every day because that feels too easy to not do it and then just stop doing it completely. So most days, just gonna try. Finish and publish Independent Hearts Book 1, finish and publish Across the Pond Book 3. I want to really work on book marketing, especially my email list and my website redesign. I've got a financial goal that I'm not going to specify, but I think it's doable. And then there's a professional development task I want to do. And then the 8th thing was get a new car. You'll see when I get down to the next part of the goals, redesigning my goals, how that's going to play out. So then I asked, what have these last 6 months taught me? Because I think that's important. And it's not just looking back at what you've accomplished and not accomplished, but also what you've learned from what you have and haven't gotten done. So things don't always go according to plan. I can't keep pushing myself and I won't get anywhere on an empty tank. I have to put myself first. I have to let go of perfectionism and lean into good enough, especially since my good enough is still really good. So because I have turned into, and I wasn't this way before grad school, but because I've turned into this really high achieving, overachieving perfectionist, my good enough is still better than my best effort used to be before all of this, before grad school kind of turned me into this type of person. So my good enough is fine. Part of the perfectionism I'm noticing is also stemming from the self-publishing, because I keep seeing all of this advice in spaces that are really pushing you to meet the same quality standards as traditional publishing, and that's really tricky. It's not impossible, but it's impossible at the budget that I'm currently working on, because I can't afford to hire a really good cover designer and a really good editor and a really good copy editor. And so I know I can do the people, I've said this before, the people who I can afford, I can do as good of a job as them. The people who can do better than me, I can't afford. So I'm just doing everything myself. And again, it's recognizing that I am meeting a lot of those standards. It's not that my books aren't selling because they're bad books and I'm getting really bad reviews and people are saying my covers are boring and my writing is horrible. Like, that's not the feedback I'm getting. I really do think it's a visibility issue. It's just not enough people are seeing my books, finding them to be able to read them. There's a lot of that perfectionism that I just need to really kind of manage and get past. I've learned that I am strong, but there's a limit to that strength. I'm not unbreakable. When I don't rest, life has a way of putting too much stress on my weak spots and old habits flare up. So some of the things that haven't gone quite right lately are things that really point at, they really get to the areas where I'm weaker and the areas where I'm very insecure, and it magnifies that stress. And I'm too tired to be able to flip that and present a different perspective to deal with it. So what areas of my life / skills do I feel like I've strengthened or developed over the last 6 months? And I think this was really important to to think about, because my first instinct, as I wrote down, my first instinct is that I haven't done this. I haven't strengthened or developed anything, but I know that's a matter of perspective. I am growing stronger as a writer, and I'm getting better at the production side of self-publishing, so writing, editing, formatting, cover design, etc. are all doing well. It's the marketing side that I'm working on. Personally, I'm getting better at recognizing when old habits like perfectionism are flaring up, but I'm still not consistent about taking action to help those things. So I can recognize, oh, this is your perfectionism flaring up, but then I'm still working on flipping that script then completely and putting my perfectionism kind of back in its place. I have gotten better at things like drinking more water, and when the weather was good, I was going for walks regularly, and if I didn't go for a walk on one day, I still sat outside on the balcony and got some fresh air and got out of my apartment and was better at enjoying the present moment. So then, areas that still feel weak or needs improvement or development: marketing skills and book sales needs improvement. I need to do more research on those areas and invest time in implementing the things that I learn about. So I need to stop putting it on the back burner. Like, it needs to be something that is more of a priority. Sleep. I need more of it. I'm tired and I'm burned out. And then movement. I'm dealing with a lot of body pain most days. My fibromyalgia is not so much, I don't want to say I'm in a persistent flare, but the average body pain I deal with has increased, and I know that it's because I'm spending so much time sitting here at my desk, and so I need to be doing more stretching, doing more to take care of my body in that way. So how will I incorporate rest / recharging to get through the next 6 months? I kind of separated that out as a question because I felt like it's easy to just add sleep more as one of your goals for the year, but I feel like this is kind of separate from the goals. I need to be resting more and recharging my internal batteries more frequently and for longer durations of time, as well as working on my goals. So I'm going to sleep more, I'm going to go to bed earlier and let my body sleep later in the morning. I need more consistent breaks and snacks throughout the day to keep myself charged throughout the day. More rest and less work on the weekends, and time off in the evenings to just relax and not always being on my phone or my computer, because I have a tendency to edit vlogs at night or work on the thumbnails or prep Instagram posts or just check email, do little things, and so I'm not fully turning off at night while I watch TV. 3 habits I need to break, and I'm limiting myself to 3. So I'm going to stop staying up past 11 as much as I can. I'm going to stop being unkind to myself and beating myself up if something isn't perfect or if something isn't done in the way some stranger on the internet thinks it should be done. Again, thinking of, you know, people in some of these self-publishing groups who are like, oh my gosh, you absolutely can't do your own book covers or you can't edit your own book. Well, no one is giving me money to hire people for these things, so I'm doing it myself and I'm doing it as best as I can. So I'm going to stop beating myself up or feeling insecure about my own work because I'm not following the typical advice, because I still think I'm doing a good job on those things. And I'm going to stop overextending myself. I had put down on my list to like say no to things. This is something that's not as important for the remainder of the summer, but I know when the fall semester starts and I'm getting questions from students and things and from my department and all of that, I'm gonna stop overextending myself. 3 habits I need to strengthen and keep working on. So sleeping more and making time for rest, yoga and intuitive movement most days, and learning and following my limits / setting smaller goals so that I am accomplishing things and feeling that sense of accomplishment more frequently. So my revised goals for 2021, and I broke this up into a top 3, a mid 3, and a bottom 3, and then a space for any remaining goals that can be moved to 2022. My top 3 are the things that I must accomplish. So publish the remaining 2 books this year, which I guess is cheating because that's technically 2 separate things, but number 2, set up my email list. That has to get done. None of my other marketing work is going to be that effective if I don't have that email list set up. And then improve/strengthen my marketing knowledge. So my mid 3, the things that would be nice to accomplish, I want to continue redesigning my website. I feel like I've redesigned it enough that it's functional for now. It could be better. There's some small tweaks I'll probably make, but I think I'm going to save bigger redesigns and like switching to a different template and things like that for another time. If I have time at the end of the year, I'll do it then, but it's not a need to must accomplished item. Continue working on the Real Romance project. I don't want to shelve that one completely. I would still like to have that come out instead of March of next year. I'm now thinking of May of next year, kind of in the time slot that More Than Fate took up this year. So I will continue working on that, but it's not going to be one of my main priorities. And then I've got a couple professional development tasks that I've scaled back those to the 2 most important things. So again, I'm not sure when I'll get to fit those in, but I think I can get them done by the end of this year, and it would be nice to get those things done. And then the bottom 3, these are things that I will survive if these don't get done, and they can be moved to 2022. So, new car. This is dependent on some factors that are out of my control. Partially, I need to save up more money. Partially, it's just not a good time to be buying a new car. So, if something works out and I'm able to get one before the end of this year, cool. If it doesn't and it gets pushed until next summer or something like that, I will live with that. And then the last 2, the bottom 3 that I'll survive if they don't get done, are the 2 financial goals that I set for myself. If I don't meet those 2 financial goals, I've made a good amount of progress so far this year. If I can at least keep it to that, that would be great. I've got a flashing battery light. I have to finish this. Remaining goals to move to 2022. Felt like all of my goals had been covered, but I think that's a space where if there are still some goals that you have that aren't covered in the top, mid, or bottom 3, that would be a good place to put those goals, just so that you still have them and you're aware of them. And if something can get crossed off, great, but that they're not part of those 3 other sets of 3 goals. And then action plan moving forward, I just wanted to kind of set a goal or a plan that every month as I'm setting up the new month in my planner, I'll return to this document to make sure that I'm focusing on my top 3 goals and possibly those mid 3, but that I'm not jumping down to something that's a lower priority, that I'm focusing on the top priorities and focusing on prioritizing the right things. So that's my mid-year reset. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I feel like this is going to help me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys in case any of you are kind of in need of something like this as well. I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. The vlogs will return very soon. I just need to kind of get through this just bit of a rough start to the week that I'm having. I will see y'all very soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye!